Welcome to HealthWatch, presented by Novant Health. I'm June Baker, and I'll be your host today. We have a great show planned for you, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Our first guest is Dr. Ted Parcell. He's an orthopedic surgeon with Novant Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. And next, we'll meet the newest member of our leadership team, Becky Whiteside. Becky is now the Director of Professional and Support Services at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. And lastly, we'll meet Terry DeWeese, and she's the Director of Trauma Services at Novant Health New Hanover Regional Medical Center. So stay tuned for this exciting episode of HealthWatch. Our first guest is Dr. Ted Parcell, an orthopedic surgeon with Novant Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Parcell.
Great to be back, thank you.
Seems like you were just here not long ago, a few months ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming back so soon, but I know there's an exciting announcement to make. We briefly touched on something going to happen, and it's finally happened.
Yes, we've been working on it for quite some time now about getting a robotics platform here to perform knee replacement surgery. And we just obtained it here several weeks ago, and we're up and running already. So, and we can get into it more as we sit here and discuss today.
I'm really excited about this. Now, I know that this isn't your first rodeo with robotics. You have performed them in the past, correct?
Correct. Years ago, prior to coming here, I had one of the first platforms, and I actually performed the first robotic total knee replacement in the state of North Carolina. And that was back, I believe, in 2017. But since then, the technology has evolved quite a bit, which has made it considerably easier, faster, more reproducible, and frankly, just easier to use.
That's exciting that you performed the first one in North Carolina. That's something to be very proud of.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it seems
and
it was quite a while ago.
I'm going to talk about that.
Sure. It was early on in the process with the software was a bit more cumbersome, and it took some time, but it's amazing how far it's come and how the platform that we have here, the Corey from Smith & Nephew, is small and compact, it's portable, it's easy to use.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And we can get into some more of the specifics here.
Yeah, I knew it would get smaller. Everything gets smaller over
the
years.
Look at your phone and everything else.
Yeah, look at the phones. We used to have one of those big old...
For sure, I remember those.
You're too young.
No, I had one of those, I remember back in the day, oh yeah.
So, using a tool or a platform like this, the Smith & Nephew Corey, what would be some of the benefits for the patient?
Sure. What we know is when we perform a total knee replacement, we're trying to hit the bullseye of the target every time.
Yeah.
And with our standard instruments, you have a little bit of a scatter around the bullseye, but with the robot, you're going to hit real close to the bullseye every time and make you more precise, more reproducible, and more accurate time after time. And we can see very subtle changes with the robot that you couldn't perceive before with just your eyes and your hands.
Yeah, yeah. How about you? Does that work better for you? Are you happy?
Yeah, we're finding it out, and it has been a very interesting and eye-opening experience. Okay, you look at certain things intraoperatively about here's what I think, and then you sometimes you can corroborate it on the computer. But also sometimes, you may want to move something very subtly and to make it even what is very good even better. And the goal is to optimize outcomes for our patients.
Yeah. How do you decide which method is better?
We're using it on nearly everybody now.
Really?
Yes, and it gives us some flexibility on some of the more complicated deformities, some patients where we can't use standard instrumentation who have previous hardware in their bones from surgeries years or prior, and it allows us the ability to be more accurate and gives us an alternative for those patients. But we've been using it for nearly everyone.
Well, that's interesting. Can you sort of walk me through what a knee replacement looks like?
Sure. It's the difference is a standard knee replacement is the skin incision down the middle of the knee, a few inches long, and using standard instruments and cutting guides to remove small layers of bone that are just about 8 to 9 millimeters thick, depending on the deformity of the patient. There are a lot of misconceptions by patients in the community that we're taking off a big chunk of bone and lopping off this and that. Not so much. It's basically resurfacing the ends of the bones with the cutting guides. But now what we do with the robotic guidance is we will insert 2 pins through the incision into the bone of the femur and 2 into the tibia to tell the computer where the knee is in space.
Oh.
So you can have the knee straight, bent, to the side, right, left, however you like, and the computer knows exactly where it is. And we will take some tools and we will recreate the bone on the computer.
Oh.
We have a probe that has infrared connection with the computer, and I can swipe around the bone, and you can see in real time the bone being recreated on the screen. And what you do after that and a few other motions, you can figure out the alignment of the patient, where you need to place your implants, and the robotic arm helps you guide in doing that and positioning your guide so you get it just right.
Well, I saw a picture of it, and we're going to show a picture
Yes.
of that of it to our viewers, but it doesn't look like it takes up a lot of room. But do you stand near the machine, or you?
Yes, my hands
how
are
does
still
that work?
hands-on. This is very
Okay.
different. Some patients
Very
may be
different than the typical robot.
the
that we
other
think of.
robot platforms that, particularly with general surgery and urology,
Right.
that use, that's more of a hands-off where the surgeon is off to the side. Here, my hands are still on the patient at the side of the operating room table, performing the surgery with the robotic arm in my hand. And there are a few different platforms out there, but the one that we have is based on a burr, a high-speed burr that prepares the bone, and I can follow it in real time on the screen. And when you get the burr where it needs to go, it'll resect some bone, but if you deviate outside that, it'll stop and pull back. So you can't,
Isn't that amazing? You can't make a mistake.
in real time. And the refresh rate of the software is incredibly fast. It's faster than a blink of an eye that it'll stop you and pull you back. But it keeps you even more accurate that way.
And so you can use this on a revision also?
You can. It's not fully approved for that. We
that,
can use it that way and help us with some alignment in certain conditions as well. And there's some research being done now to use its application into hips, which is still,
Wow.
it remains to be seen, but we're still trying to figure that out. But we can use it for...
At some point, maybe.
Yes, we can use it for partial knee replacements and total knee replacements, and some revision alignment issues we can also tackle with it as well.
Wow.
And one of the biggest advantages of our platform is that it doesn't require a preoperative CT scan.
That's very important.
And one of the other systems that's very common, patients have to have a CAT scan done. So you have to come to the hospital or an imaging center, and it's more cost for the patient, more radiation, and it actually adds a layer of complexity where something could go wrong. What happens, that CAT scan doesn't load properly, the patient's in the operating room, and so on and so forth, where it becomes more of a, it can be more of an issue. Ours, we recreate the bone in real time in the operating room, irregardless of some preoperative CT scan.
Yeah, well, it's also going to be cheaper. You don't
Yes.
have to have that pre-op CAT scan. So, and it decreases the amount of radiation that the patient
Yeah, and it's less
exposed
cost to the patient. This day and age, and given what our economy is presently going through, saving patients some money is a great benefit to them.
How about recovery time? Does
Sure.
this help patients recover?
We think so, and out of necessity with COVID, we were moving forward to outpatient surgery, and I've been doing a lot of hip and knee replacements as an outpatient, where patients are going home.
Yeah, that's
Where
true.
patients
That's
are
what
going
I've heard.
home the same day, and it's been great. And patients are able to go home and sleep in their own bed, wear their own pajamas. They're not being
that's nice.
poked for vital signs or labs. They're
exactly.
doing great, and we can see them the next day if we had to in the office.
Right.
But we're having most of them seen by home health the following day, and it's been exceptional.
Wow, that's a lot of great information. I hope you'll come back real soon, because I'm sure we're going to have more information on this, and I'm looking forward to the hip replacement.
Yes, well, great. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Our next guest is a member of our newest leadership team, Becky Whiteside, who's the Director of Professional and Support Services here at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Becky, it is so nice to have you back on the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, you've been on a few times, but let's remind our guests about your background and where you went to school, things like that.
Okay, perfect. I'm a Brunswick County native.
I know.
So exciting. So left here after high school, went and obtained my Bachelor's of Science degree in nursing from East Carolina University, and then moved back home following that, where I've worked in the emergency department at New Hanover Regional Medical Center, and then also at Brunswick Novant at the time. And have kind of transformed through my career. I've worked in quality and then went back to school and got my master's in healthcare administration from Ohio University, and worked in the outpatient clinics, and now in my new role.
And that's why you're here today. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But I want to ask you this. When you left Brunswick County to go to school, did you always know or have in the back of your mind that you wanted to work in the community that you grew up in and love so much?
I did. I am a beach girl at heart. We have a very close family, so being here and coming back home is what I always wanted to do.
I wondered that. I thought perhaps that was why, because you're so passionate about Brunswick County and the community here. So that's really nice that you decided to come back. Well, there's so much to talk about, Becky. You've done so much, but you recently got a new position here at the medical center. You're now the Director of Professional and Support Services, right? And I don't know what that really means, but tell me what your day looks like.
Perfect. So here lately, I've recently taken the position. It really is hospital operations, so all the behind the scenes work of those support departments. Just to name a few: surgical services, the outpatient ASC, radiology, pharmacy, respiratory, EVS, facilities. Just a few departments. There's a total of...
Just a few?
Yeah, total of 12.
That's what I thought.
Total of 12 departments. Definitely enjoying it as I've transitioned. Really spent a day in the life with my leaders and their departments to really learn and understand all the behind the scenes operation that help the facility work and how we really tie care together in the facility. So it's been exciting.
It's people probably, when they think hospital or healthcare, they think nurses, doctors. But what about the people who prepare your food and the people who keep your facility sparkling clean so that no one gets sicker while they're here? Those are some of the most important jobs there are in a facility.
Yeah, we are one giant team here at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, and everyone has their role to play. And so everyone takes great pride in what they bring to the operations. Speaking
of great pride, I think there's something that you and I worked together along with many, many other people on the COVID vaccination site at the college. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was
pretty exciting.
It was an amazing experience. In 2021, obviously, we were charged with opening the mass vaccination site in the county, partnering with the college, the National Guard, Brunswick County, all of the resources, Dozier. And, you know, it's huge partnerships to really look at how do we take care of the community. We are fortunate to say that all of the entities came together perfectly. And we vaccinated close to 50,000 doses. And so it was an amazing operation to be a part of, really the logistics of how do we...
The logistics were, I don't know how you accomplished that, and I know that was your chore to do. And between you and the sergeant major or from the National Guard, having your heads together, figuring out who was on first that day.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a village, and we truly had an amazing village of people that would just take on their role and get that done.
Yeah, and the weather was not cooperative either. That was a pretty hard winter that we went through.
We did. We saw a variety of things. One day it would be freezing rain, and then the next day it would be 80 degrees and sunny.
The only thing we didn't have was snow. We had ice,
We did.
Rain and heat.
Yes.
So, but it was a great time. I think that everybody pulled together and made that a very huge success.
Absolutely.
So, in your role prior to your new role, you were you oversaw all the outpatient specialty care. How do you think that helped you prepare, or did it help you to prepare for this new role?
It did. It really allows me to tie both entities. As our community navigates through the healthcare system, they often come to the offices or come to the emergency department, which leads them to follow up in one of our outpatient offices. And as part of that care, whether it's additional imaging, needing a surgical procedure done, it really allows the patient to move very smoothly through the operation. So my goal and what I want to obtain in this role is really making that such a smooth transition for the patient. So they don't see the operation behind the scenes. They see just movement in healthcare to be truly convenient for them where they need it the most, and that's really aligns with what we're doing here in our region, is to provide that close to home convenient care, so patients aren't out traveling and seeking health care. We're offering it to them right where they need it. And so being a part of that, the outpatient setting and ambulatory world that we consider, bringing that and how we really tie the dots together for our patients is truly what I'm hoping to achieve here.
And I'm sure you will. You don't fail at many tasks, Becky. I'm a huge proponent of yours, and I know our viewers will be able to tell that. So excited for you. You're also involved in construction now. And so I saw dirt being turned over outside the hospital today. So tell me about all the thousands of square feet that we're adding.
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing. We have had the honor and privilege to add, or we'll be adding 2 medical office buildings. One's located behind our main primary care location in Charlotte, Oceanside Convenient Care. And it will be roughly 28,000 square foot, where it houses some outpatient specialties that may not need to be close to the hospital location. It also have outpatient rehab as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so we're excited about that and offering
a brand new rehab. Oh, that's going to be great.
Yes, absolutely. And then we also have the new medical office building that we just had our groundbreaking
the other day.
Week. Yes, absolutely. So we are excited about that.
That's a huge one, isn't it?
It is. It's 34,000 square foot. It'll house a lot of our specialties in one of our primary care offices as well here locally, close to the campus of the hospital, so those specialists can easily get to the hospital as needed for procedures or to evaluate patients.
And well, some will be vacating their current space in the current MOB next door. So what happens there? Are they going to rehab that? And
we are. We're going to be expanding services at both our urology location and our OBGYN location.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I just can't believe all the things that's going on, all the services that are growing, and it's an exciting time to be with Novant Health. This county is very large. I travel a lot in my position, and it's from one end to the other. I mean, my goodness, I'm in Leland, and the next thing you know, I'm in Little River in South Carolina. So there's a lot of travel. But if there's one thing that you would like to say about Novant Health, what would it be? What would you like our viewers to know about Novant Health?
Just we're here to support the community. We truly are invested in the well-being of everyone in this community, and whether it's expansion of services to meet the needs of our patients and community that we serve, we are all in. We're all vested in healthcare and having that grow and expand.
Yeah, we truly follow that mission, vision, and values that Novant Health has charged us with. We meet the patient where they are, wherever that is. So, well, I can't wait to bring you back because you haven't been in your role very long. So I know you're going to have some great stories and some huge wins. So I know you'll come back.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here, Becky. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.
Our last guest today is Terry DeWeese. and she's the Director of Trauma Services at Novant Health, New Hanover Regional Medical Center. Welcome to the show today, Terry. I'm so excited to meet you.
Well, thanks, June. I'm really happy to be here today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely, because you have some great information that we want to share with our viewers today. So, and now I'm so excited that it's no longer you and us, it's we, and it's so nice to be a partner with New Hanover. So.
You know, the team at New Hanover Regional Medical Center is just absolutely grateful to have become part of the Novant Health family.
That's awesome.
And, you know, the opportunity for us to have additional team members and work together and celebrate the best of both has been just really a remarkable journey.
Yeah, true. I agree.
And we have a little more journey to go.
Yeah,
but,
we do. Well, we'll get there. So I want to get to know you a little better, and my viewers to get to know you. So give me a little bit of information about your background and how you got to be in trauma services.
Okay. Well, I'm a registered nurse. I have a doctorate in nursing practice. I've been with New Hanover Regional Medical Center for almost 11 years. Started out there as the manager of the emergency department. Managed the emergency department for a few years, moved up north and opened up the emergency department at Scotts Hill when that opened in 2015, and helped to get that successfully up and running and serving the northern quarter of our market region, which really needs some support. And then after that was going along pretty good, I was presented with the opportunity to come and take over the trauma program. And I said, well, gee, I've never done that. Okay, let's go. So that was about, well, it was August of 2018. We had a brand new medical director and a brand new trauma program director, and off we went.
That's exciting. My goodness, what a whirlwind. And you seem like you have a ton of energy. You're like me. You just always go, go, go. And so I'm so hyper. People, you know, I talk too fast. All those things.
Talk too fast, talk too much. Yep. So
I know that New Hanover Regional Medical Center is a level 2 trauma center. That's hard to say. So tell me what that means.
Okay. So New Hanover Regional Medical Center has been designated by the state of North Carolina as a level 2 trauma center since 1998.
Wow.
Okay. So what that was were state requirements that we had to have certain specialties of care, we had to have certain equipment, and we needed to have transfer agreements with the level 1 centers. So when you talk about level 1 trauma centers, you're looking at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Duke University, Wake Med up in Raleigh is level 1, and so is, well, what's now known as ECU Health, Vidant, up in Greenville. So we have transfer agreements with them, and we keep just about everything that, that comes to our emergency department. About the only thing we transfer out is burns, because we are not a burn center. Our burn patients go to UNC, and some complicated pediatrics. Pediatric neurosurgery. We don't have a pediatric neurosurgeon right now. Yet, exactly. And that is the operative word. One of the nice things about not only our relationship with Novant Health now is our partnership with UNC for the medical school. And so there are plans in the works to expand the level of subspecialty coverage, not just in Wilmington, but in Brunswick County as well. So there's some great opportunities on the horizon.
For sure. Can you help me differentiate between a trauma center and then a hospital emergency department?
Sure. Hospital emergency departments come in, they're basically comprehensive care. So anybody that comes to the front door of an emergency department can receive basic stabilizing medical care. Then depending on the capability of that particular facility, the decision is made, can we safely take care of this patient here, or do we need to get them to a higher level of care? Not necessarily, I don't want people to think that it's a better level of care, it's a higher level of care. You know, we have more resources available to support the patient. And so that decision is made by the emergency department physician, often in consultation with whatever specialty they need, whether they need an orthopedic surgeon or a trauma surgeon or a neurosurgeon. Those conversations occur and the decision is made then to send the patient to the trauma center.
And we're so fortunate now that we have the Novant Health helicopter service here at at Brunswick. It's sitting right behind the hospital. And so we're so fortunate now that we can get those patients to you faster or to wherever they need to be.
Absolutely, and that's really one of the great things that we've been able to do with our helicopter service with AirLink and Vitalink. We've been able to get AirLink there. We have 3 helicopters. One is stationed here on the helipad. One is stationed up at Albert J. Ellis Airport in Jacksonville. And the last one is staged down at Columbus Regional in Whiteville. So that allows us to serve all of the patients in the region quickly, safely, efficiently. It's, I believe, and I may be off a minute or two, but I think it's an 8-minute flight from the helipad here to the helipad at New Hanover.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
Quick.
And it travels a lot. I've heard it, so it's much more frequent now than it used to be. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing that patients get there, but it seems there are more traumas coming in. There's just more people are more seriously hurt.
You know, we can attribute that to our rapid population growth.
Yeah, probably.
Since I took over the program in 2018, we've seen about a 40% growth rate in the number of patients that come to us. For 2021, we had almost 3,400 trauma patients treated at New Hanover Regional Medical Center. Since 2016, we've had an over 60% growth rate. So the need is there.
The need is there, yeah.
The need is definitely there.
Yeah. I think you were recently verified as a level 2 trauma center. So does that verification happen every so many years?
Yes.
How does that work?
Yes. For the first time in our history, we were actually verified as a level 2 trauma center by the American College of Surgeons.
Oh, that's great.
So that is, that's you know, bringing down the thunder, for lack of a better term.
That's being, you should be so proud of that.
And we are. And basically what that is guidelines by the experts that we have to meet.
And you've met all those.
And we have met all of those.
Well, that's good to know. You briefly mentioned pediatric patients. Talk about that care team involved with that. And do you always keep them, or do they have to go elsewhere sometimes?
Depending on the nature of their injury, some of our pediatric patients do get transferred out, and when they do get transferred out, 99% of the time they're going to go up to UNC. But we have great pediatric intensive care physicians that take care of the majority of the patients. In fact, when a pediatric patient presents to the emergency department as a trauma code, the team from pediatrics comes down to help support the trauma surgeons and the emergency department staff, so they get the best care they can possibly get.
That's awesome. And I heard the other day somebody reached out to me looking for space on our campus or in our in Charlotte area. We're hoping to bring pediatric specialty care to Brunswick County so that they never have to leave.
That's so exciting.
They won't have to come across that bridge.
Well, it's really difficult especially if you know,
a kid.
And if it's, you know, you have one child that's ill or injured, and then you have 3 others that you have to worry about to try to make that commute to Chapel Hill or to Durham.
Awesome.
I mean, it's just really difficult for the families.
Yeah. So, will you come back?
Absolutely, I would love to.
There's so many other things I want to talk about.
Absolutely.
And we're just out of time.
I'm just a few miles up the road. Just give me a shout.
I'm going to come up and visit.
Perfect. I look forward to it.
Okay, great. Well, Terry, it's been my pleasure to have you here, and I look forward to seeing you real soon.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to HealthWatch. If you'd like more information about services provided at Novant Health, or you're looking for a new physician, please visit our website at novanthealth.org. So be sure to join us next time on HealthWatch.